Ooh, that made a good sound. What? You're supposed to take the sock off before you put the sock on. You know that, right? Like you can't put two socks over each other. That's not how that works. It's the end of that bottle. And I think that means that I'm out of wine. Actually, like in this entire house, I am out of wine. I mean, I'm not out of wine myself. I can wine all the live long day, but I am out of drinkable wine. Oh, so luscious.
It's his leg.
You're just gonna keep that in frame the whole show?
Probably not the whole show, but
Oh,
might
okay.
as well while I'm here.
Okay, well, so, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are completely lost by the events of this stream so far, I'm drinking wine. A boyfriend was showing off his leg in one of my knee highs. Beautiful. Because it was specifically requested that he be dressed up in the leg department by one of his fans so that they could see the contours of his legs. Unfortunately, we don't have any hosiery as was requested, so the next best thing is this knee-high sock that I found in my drawer. Yes, these are my socks. I don't ever wear them. They were actually socks that were part of my uniform for when I used to play the violin. Because I used to be part of an almost cult-like a violin school that had a uniform. It's kind of crazy now that I'm thinking about it. What violin school? I mean, I know the orchestra has like a dress code, and at least our high school's orchestra had a dress code. But like, they didn't make us wear specific kind of socks, and like the president of the school didn't have to inspect our uniforms in high school as opposed to the violin school where that was very much a thing. Like every once in a while, you just like in the middle of repertoire, a girl would come out or a guy would come out dressed in the full uniform for performances. And she determined whether or not the uniform was suitable for that year or if they needed to get a new uniform. Because that happened. It happened a lot. Wow, I had a really interesting childhood, didn't I? Yeah. So, it's part of my old violin uniform, which I don't have anymore. I just have the socks. Because the thing about the uniforms was they would just kind of loan you them, the ties and the dress. And then they'd take them back when you were done with them. So I didn't get to keep a uniform, but it was this like cute little white dress with a red sash around it. And of course, the sashes were never easy to tie. So yeah, you were in a white dress that went kind of like down to your knees with a sash and white knee-high socks and black patent leather shoes. Which kind of, if you know anything about school's music, gives away exactly what violin school I was a part of, I guess. Oh well, doxed. It's fine. But that was 12 years of my life. Did the uniforms have Catholic schoolgirl vibes? I guess like from the knees down, yeah, kind of, but the dresses were definitely a little bit more for special occasions than not. Here's the thing about the dresses themselves. They were nice. They're something that you could totally get away with wearing to a nice dinner. But they were weird to have for like a uniform. For it's specifically for orchestra too, because typically in the orchestra, you wear black. For most performances, you wear black. It's tradition to wear black. If you're in the band, if you're in the orchestra, if you're in choir, black is the thing. But no, not in this school of music. Nope. White dresses for the girls, black pants for the boys with a white shirt and red tie. Ugh. Sketchy as fuck. Ray's Jacobson says no one has the time or energy to research violin schools. You're fine. If you know anything about the world of music, it's not going to be. I think probably it's not going to be hard to come up with an answer, but it was forever ago. It basically was a lifetime ago because I stopped playing the violin when I went to high school. So I just kind of dropped out. It doesn't sound like it's a selling point, but yeah, typically when you join the violin school, you join until you graduate at 18 and you go off to college. And the only reason that you drop out or you leave the violin school is because, well, you move away to go to college and start your career as a violinist. Hence, you have no reason to take lessons anymore because you're doing it privately at college, presumably, if you continue on. Typically, no one really quit the violin school. It was an anomaly in my family because it was not just me that played the violin. All three of my cousins played the violin because their mother actually worked for the violin school, and my brother and I both played the violin. My brother actually played the violin up until he graduated from high school and went off to college. He still plays the violin. I believe he's at school on a violin scholarship currently, if I'm not mistaken. But the rest of my cousins also played well through until they graduated. I was the anomaly in that I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so I dropped out of violin school, which every time I say it sounds bad, but it wasn't for me. I didn't like the rigor of being told what to play, when to play, how to play, and how to dress while I played. And that was that. Like, there was no room for my own input, and I didn't like that about that. Because I'm a very creative person, as we all know. I like to put my own touch and spin on things. And so it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. I got tired of it. I was investing hours upon hours every week. It was like a part-time job for me. 10 hours a week practicing, going to rehearsals. And this was every week. Like, this was either every Saturday or every other Saturday. We'd sit in a room for like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours just playing the same song over and over and over and over again. And staying there throughout the entire repertoire of pieces that we needed to perfect in order to play at the annual concert on Orchestra Hall. And it became such a slog for me. I was like, why am I investing this many hours in something that I'm not 100% passionate about? I could be doing literally anything else with my time. And so I did. Violin school dropout. I don't remember that song in Greece. Neither do I, Race. But yeah, I dropped out of violin school, and my dad told me that, hey, Weebo, you can't just drop out of violin. You have to do something else in addition to you have to do something else, not in addition to, but in lieu of the violin. And so that's when I got into martial arts. So I didn't start really doing anything that I wanted to do as an extracurricular until that point. And we all know how that went. I got my black belt, and then I went to college and stopped. And I'd like to pick it up once more, once all of the COVID shenanigans kind of dies down a little bit and I settle into more of a routine. I'd like to revisit martial arts. But as of right now, I'm just keeping myself healthy and exercise by going to the gym myself. Hi, Polly. I can't hear you.
Hello.
We were just talking about how I'm a violin school dropout.
How you're a violent school dropout?
No, a violin school dropout.
Oh, okay. It's actually better.
A violent school dropout.
What I actually heard. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Holly, have you ever dropped a hobby?
Sure.
Yeah.
I
Like-
definitely drop children.
Oh my god. Have you, in your youth, did your parents ever make you do something that they thought was fun or was character building? And then you're just like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. And finally, when you turn like 15, 14, they're like, they listen to you for the first time ever. You don't have to invest your time in that thing that you're not passionate about.
Of that sort? No. No, I can't say that.
No, your parents never made you go to violin as a kid.
No.
Oof. Why am I blurry? Focus!
Jesus Christ.
It's still won't focus. What
That's not how ASMR works.
It's a hand. It's a Weebo. Hang on. Hey, look, I'm not blurry anymore.
Your
I hate
camera
that I
focus is just as good as you do.
I'm good at focusing. Fuck you. Anyway. So no hot. What? Okay. So your parents didn't force you to do the Tiger Mom thing where they just they made you play the violin for years and years and years. But you must have had hobbies that you just lost interest in, right?
Of course.
Yeah. How long were those hobbies typically? Were they like?
Oh.
I don't know. Fleeting hobbies?
No.
Were they the ones that you invested a lot of time and effort into?
I guess it's always a relative statement how much time and effort was spent into something. But they were never hobbies, what the hell, activities, whatever you want to call them, that were forced upon me by my parents. No, I can't. Are you angry at your parents because of violin? Is it making you violent?
No. The reason why I did violin wasn't so much because they wanted me to be a violinist. No, it was just because it was a thing to do to better myself, to have a skill, to show something for their time and effort in my life. I guess. It's like, why does a parent put their kid in any hobby? Not so much because they expect them to be the next, I don't fucking know, Barbara Streisand if it's singing, or Yo-Yo Ma if it's the cello. No, they do it because they're like, oh, here's a skill. Learn it, live it, love it. And okay,
Barbara Streisand.
She's a singer.
I guess.
No, not
Go
I
on.
guess she is a singer.
Go on, you were saying.
I guess you say what? But like, okay, so to be fair, in my youth, I did want to play the violin when I was 3. Because I saw my cousin doing it. So I said, Dad, I want to play the violin. So they got me this tiny baby Weebo violin. And I played. Fuck off. And I played my little heart out. And I was good at it. I have trophies of my violin expertise. But it lost its luster after a time.
The trophies? They got polished for that.
Yeah, I have here. Let me show you. Right up there. Those are all my violin trophies. Like, I was a decent violinist.
Well, I'm not saying you weren't.
I just didn't want to.
I mean, I got trophies for stuff, but I didn't.
Yeah, you say first place.
Keep them.
Sorry, that was mean.
They're all participation trophies, and I'll thank you not to mock me.
It's just being forced to engage in something that you once were passionate about kind of kills the joy a little bit, don't you think?
Well, I think that's parents' responsibility is to kill the joy in their child and get them ready for the doldrum that is adult life.
Wow, Polly, thanks for that.
I'm just.
So basically, parents are joy ruiners. I can't wait to be a parent now.
They want to. Well, what kind of irresponsible parent would tell them that adulthood is anything but a soul-sucking time waster into the grave?
Well, yeah, but you also don't have to be like, okay, and because of that, spend 10 hours of your life every single week playing the same fucking 8 notes over and over again until they're perfect.
10 hours. No wonder you never got any good.
10 hours a week at a minimum.
So what you're trying to tell me is that my thoughts about picking up the trumpet are a forlorn hope because just I'll end up hating it?
Yeah, because your mom's going to tell you, now, Polydub, don't stop practicing until you've hit at least 1 hour, or you can play this piece perfectly, start to finish. Oh, you know what else they used to do to me? If I fucked up in the middle of a piece, I'd have to start it all over again and play the whole thing again. Like, no, it wasn't just, oh, practice this little measure here to make sure that you get it correct. It wasn't just that. It was, wait, that note was off key. Start the fuck over. And proceed.
Wow. It's not really... See, it's not exactly like, what do you want to call it? Would you call it Tiger Mom? That's more like SS She-Wolf was the Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS Mom.
Are you calling my father an SS She-Wolf? Because
Well,
he was the one that did it.
That was your dad?
It was my dad.
Your dad's
my
Elsa.
My mom did not give up.
Have you ever seen any of them Ilsa movies?
No.
No, it's not good that I called anyone that. It's not.
Okay.
It's not good. She was a sexual sadist.
Oh. Yeah, please don't describe my father as that. That's my dad. Like, yeah, no, okay. You know what is interesting though is I think my dad was overcompensating for the lack of fucks my mother didn't give in any capacity of my life. Because like, my parents divorced when I was 6, right? So I spent half the time at mom's house, half the time at dad's house. So half of the time that I spent at mom's house, she didn't give a fuck. Okay, so what that meant was homework was never done.
I'm sure she would describe what was wrong with your father in great detail.
Oh, well, she did that too.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. But she also didn't do shit about fuck regarding our schoolwork or homework.
She didn't do shit about fuck.
Mm-hmm. She didn't care to get us to practice our violins or the piano when I picked it up as well. Dinner was kind of like, we might have something cooked, or you might have to make mac and cheese again for the 5th time this week, Weebo. And then I'd go to my dad's house. Complete tonal change. Absolute shift in focus. It was, did you do your homework? Did you read for 20 minutes? Did you practice your violin for an hour? Da-da-da-da-da. All right, bedtime. So you go from a completely structured existence to absolute loosey-goosey. You can go to bed at whatever fucking time that you want. And if that doesn't fuck up a kid a little bit, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm so spreadsheety. Obsessed with my calendars and my organizations, because I gravitated towards what was easier for me to grasp as a concept. I had 2 extremes, and I clung to one. I'm psychologically analyzing myself, aren't I? Yes, no, maybe so.
Possibly.
Yeah. Shall we redirect?
Let's talk about Weebo and the sad British drama she watches.
You want to talk about atonement? Okay, let's talk about atonement.
That movie, the longer it sits with me, the more down I feel, which is weird. Like at the end of it, I thought like, oh wow, because like the turnaround at the end was was there at
depressing.
the time. It was fresh at the time. Now it's just kind of like,
Yeah. But now that you've had time to let it sit and marinate with you, you feel worse about the experience.
Yes.
You are not better for having watched this movie. Oh, what's that about? Why ever not? Why aren't you happy, joy at the conclusion of this I don't want to say epic romance, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
We find out that the romance was anything but epic.
And it was
all
happen.
Yeah, it was all the product of the mind of a demented child who had grown up to be a demented young lady.
Who grew into a demented old lady.
Yeah,
quite literally dementia-riddled old lady.
So the movie ends with everybody either dead and unsatisfied, dead and very hard done by, or insane.
Yeah. But didn't you enjoy it? I mean, like, not in a sense of like it made you happy, but
did you hear what she said, Chad? Yeah, but didn't it make you like? She just ran with that. Yeah.
Not make you happy, joy, feelings of goodness and closure, but like it was a good piece of it was a good piece of literature when I wrote it, but it was a good piece of cinema because it made you feel things.
Oh, it made me feel things. I'm not that I won't deny.
You just don't like that it didn't make you feel good things.
Well, good's on a relative scale. Like again, I remember telling a friend of mine, look at the time he asked, and he wanted a movie that I liked, and I named The Departed, and I said it's invigorating, and he says, "Isn't it the movie where everyone dies at the end?"
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah. It's like, how can you consider that invigorating? And I'm like, well, okay, I guess it doesn't have whatever ending one would think of as like ultimate success ending. I mean, Heat's a very good movie, but as heist films go, and it's got a very, very sad ending. As does another film we watched, The Town.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a very sad ending. You should see the alternate ending. Holy shit!
Is it sadder?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, much.
Well, I think it was good in that atonement was profound in the message that I was trying to get across, which is
don't lie on people about rape.
Well, that obviously, but I don't think that was the intended message so much as the idea is if you make a mistake in your life and it has this much of an effect on you or on the people around you, it is going to be something that you end up atoning for the rest of your life. It will weigh on you. It will be the thing that keeps you awake at night and grinds your brain into dust, and it'll be the last thing that you remember before you lose it completely. And just make good decisions, kids.
Well,
also, don't rape 15-year-old girls.
Well, that was unclear. We talked about
that was also unclear. Yes, we didn't quite realize, or we didn't quite get an answer on whether or not there was a sexual relationship that was consensual or one that wasn't. Not that you can consent as a 15-year-old girl to a sexual relationship with a grown adult man, but whether or not, it's going to sound bad, but whether or not Lola wanted it or didn't want it. And it was just horrible, embarrassing accident that Bryony stumbled across then in the dark.
It did confirm for me that Benedict Cumberbatch is a pervert, though. I had suspected it.
The mustache didn't get you all the way there first?
Well, the mustache certainly started me down the path, but when he leaned into Lola and said, "Bite it,"
with a piece of chocolate, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, dude, You weren't even acting, were you?
It took 0 effort for you to say this line. You were thinking it how?
You were just in the moment, huh?
Mm-hmm. I wonder how old that actress was when she was in that part. Because
Although I
they
go
make
over
her
to-
look like they age her up really well. I
I
think.
went over to Eve's chat and right after that movie and had to hear about, oh, look, it's a cat.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Like, I saw the cat, but now the cat's like, oh, look, here, just hold on. Let me get my butt right up in that lens. Hold on.
I don't know what you want me to do. Like she's just gonna be a nuisance. Whatever it is that I try.
I've taken care of cats. Pick it up and set it down. I'm not saying throw the cat. I'm just saying pick the cat up and set it down.
You want me to Olympic my cat across the room again?
I didn't say anything like that.
She's gonna come back. You know this. I know this. The audience knows this. Never mind. She's walking away. We're good. We're good.
When?
We're
Yeah,
fine.
she thinks she's not loved.
No, she is loved. She's just a nuisance right now. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, she's a good girl and she knows it.
Yeah, she is. So you went into Eve's room, chat room thing on her Discord, and you complained to the whole time to all of the people there about how I made you watch this big bad movie.
No, that's not what happened at all.
Oh, okay. So what happened?
I went in there and was told off for liking Keira Knightley because she has the body of a 12-year-old boy.
Was that me? Did I say that? No,
you did not say that. You said 10.
Okay. Okay. But I did mention that she has the body of a young adolescent male.
Correct.
Okay. She does. She's pretty, but she does.
No. You're wrong.
Yes.
You're wrong. She's willowy.
Okay. Pull whatever adjective you want out of your ass, Polly. It doesn't make it less true.
Well, comparing her to 12-year-old boys is no less adjectivity.
Okay. All right. Chat, we're gonna pull up some graphics here.
Oh, yeah, let's not.
No. I mean, she is pretty.
Pear to Bear asks, what's willowy? Keira Knightley. She's graceful and willowy. It means a lady of thin stature. Think of a ballerina. A ballerina is very willowy. Because willow plants are like long and thin, but graceful in the way that they move in the wind because they're top heavy, so they kind of sway with this grace. That's where the word comes from.
Abounding with willows.
I've been led to believe, anyway.
Gracefully tall and slender. Okay, I guess I can see that, but we have willowy gentlemen too.
Yeah, but I don't like dudes, so I don't. How's that relevant here?
Thank you. The next 6 minutes for the donation from 3 hours ago, my dude. If you had to choose between a top hat, bunny slippers, or a cowboy belt, or a pair of bedazzled sunglasses, what would you choose to wear to the funeral of a fictional sports team mascot? Also, sub to Weebo and buy her merch because she rocks. Bunny slippers, 100%, hands down. I would do that. Polly, do you have a Streamlabs?
Oh, hold on.
Let's not forget.
Ow! Oh, Jesus.
You okay?
Yep. Yep. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Quite positive.
Find out how old the actress was. Don't be pulling up fucking bad lighting pictures of Keira Knightley and being like, I'm jealous she's so thin. I don't want to hear about it.
That's not what I was going to do.
Well, that's not what you were going to say. But
I was just going to pull up pictures of her being willowy. Come on, you don't want to appreciate Keira Knightley's willowy frame?
I found a picture. Here, hold on. Let me show you one. This is someone played a pretty good Photoshop game with her. It would make me laugh. Here. I sent it to Sam for ha-has. Copy image. I'm going to send it over to the Weebo over here. There you go. It's in your Discord DMs.
That's not real, is it?
No, it's not real. It's
That's mean.
I know.
Oh my god.
See? And this is what I said about people. I said there's just body dysmorphia where people can look at themselves and see themselves as being much thinner or fatter than they really are, or just different than they really are. What would you call it? Visual dysmorphia? Visual exodysmorphia? Because they look at other people, and I'm like, and this was my joke for Sam. I was like, you've got like visual exodysmorphia because you look at Keira Knightley, and this is what you see when she doesn't actually look like that.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No. Let me show you what I see.
All right.
Here's the actual picture, chat.
Yes, she's quite thin and athletic. She's got a ballerina's body. Yeah.
She's so small.
Well, she's got like the thin little arms, but she clearly has a woman's hips. Now, is she extremely hippie where she could be an Instagram model? No. But then put an Instagram model in ballet leotards and watch their fat cottage cheese ass try and be graceful.
I could break this woman in half without even trying.
Well, yeah, she's a thin little thing. Of course.
I just... Like I said, body of a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, I don't give a fuck. Whatever age demographic you want to use, little boy. She tiny. And it's not because I'm jealous. It's not.
It's all right. Oh, let me turn my phone flipper off here.
Serpent21 says, she's a pirate's dream. Sunken chest. Speaking of Serpent21, I believe I have been sent a package and reminded of this package by Serpent.
Oh, nice.
And so I will open
Packages.
it. It's for the Cocktail Hour fan club, or it's from the Cocktail Hour fan club, which we
Holy
have.
shit,
Polly.
no kidding. Cool.
Aren't we just super special? Where are my skizzers?
Speaking of fans of Cocktail Hour, thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. If you have no other choice but to yell incessantly at your kitchen appliances in order for them to operate, what order would you yell at them in? What order would you yell at them in? Oh, I get you. Also, send to Polly and watch the AAA stream. It's fun. Polly is fun, and fun things are good things. He's right about everything. He's right about everything he said there.
No.
What order would I yell at kitchen appliances to work properly?
This is an oddly specific but random question.
No, I'm willing to entertain it.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what would be number one on the list of things that don't operate properly, but I wish they would.
This is the oddest packaging I have ever encountered in my life, but I'm for it. I'm here.
No, I'm okay with that package. It's like I don't need a box because what I have is cardboard. So I'm
Two
making
pieces
my own
of cardboard. I'm going to tape them together.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck a box. I'll make my own box. I like this.
I respect what has been done here today. Ooh. Fancy, fancy. Oh, it's for a Johnny Walker Blue Label.
Really?
Yeah.
Sent in a booze box. See, it's thematically consistent. I appreciate that too.
I do too, yes. And we have bubble wrap.
Someone cared.
The best gift of all. Like, I don't need anything else. People just send me bubble wrap.
She just sets aside the actual present, sits there and snaps. Nice.
Okay, here is the actual gift that I have been given. Online multiplayer Star Lancer Dreamcast. Is this a video game?
Do you have a Dreamcast?
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
It's not mine actually, so it's El Boyfriendos. Hey babe.
Yeah, whatever.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to look up the Dreamcast.
He's gonna have to hook up the Dreamcast. I think we have a TV for that. So is this like a racing game? No, it's a flying in the stars game.
Flying in the Stars game.
I think. I don't know. No, it's not a porn DVD.
What's the famous failed game that had like $200 million in user backing? StarCraft? Star Citizen? Is it Star Citizen?
I don't know. On behalf of El Boyfriendo, who will truly appreciate this, thank you,
Right.
Serpent21.
Yeah.
He's the one. El Boyfriendo is the one that collects all of the video games that you see in the background.
It's Cold War in Space, a flying shoot simulator.
Ooh. It's a flying shoot simulator, my dear. You give us something to do for date night this week.
Make it different than every other night. It's cool. Variety is the spice of romance, you know.
You've never played this video game before, so how will you know if you're good at it? Don't give me that look. You're not good at every video game.
It's not saying the Grace is a Star Citizen. That would, you know, when you go over to places that you usually don't go to, in the sense that you don't see people that you know that you usually hang out with or have seen their names before go, and then they're there. Yeah, it was weird. I was watching Razorfist in his Deep Space Nine stream, Razorfist Arcade, and there's Assassin of the Grey in chat, and I'm like, ah, look at that.
Yes. Conspiracy Occult Illuminati and NWO Media Review said, didn't the Dreamcast system flop? Babe, did the Dreamcast flop?
Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that he's not going to collect it.
That doesn't mean it wasn't a good system for its time.
I wouldn't know.
Look at
I've never
Farr.
played.
She goes around buying shitty DS games. They're deliberately shitty on purpose.
I like deliberately shitty movies. Well, not deliberately, but shitty movies that you knew are shitty. Like, the moment that you turn them on.
So the rules of attraction.
Yes. Ooh, that reminds me. You know what we should totally watch together? The pilot episodes of all of the CW comic book movies or TV shows.
No.
No? You're not interested in this?
No. Listen, that's too. How did Stuffy and Upper Crusty end again? What was the
Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
How did it end?
Yeah.
They lived happily ever after together as a couple.
It did?
Yes.
I'd like to go watch the last 5. I got a copy of it. I should go watch the last 5 minutes of that movie again.
Why do you ask?
How did you ever handle that movie with that disgustingly gaunt woman who clearly is undernourished, etc., etc.?
That was not my fucking point when I said she was a 12-year-old boy. I was just remarking about the fact that she looked like a 12-year-old boy. She's not anorexic. That's not what I said. Stop taking me out of context. Fuck you.
Whoa. Jeez. As long as you're not letting it touch a nerve, that's what counts.
I just don't like being attributed to things that I wasn't saying, which is, I didn't say that.
Look here, Cleavage Clarice. I don't want to hear about what you think isn't happening.
So you don't want to watch the CW pilot episodes?
No, but I'll tell you why. I'll give you a good reason why. Because the next choice is mine, goddammit. Fucking mine. And we ain't watching no fucking depressing British shit, okay?
I didn't suggest to watch depressing British shit. I thought it would be a fun, like similar to when we watched Twilight, all of the Twilight movies. You, me, Far, we could sit down, we could watch some shitty CW TV show content, all right? And make fun of it and have a gay old time about it.
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
Exactly. And you're just like, yeah.
What about CW stuff for Twilight? I was the one who came up with the idea for Twilight.
Exactly, which is why I thought you would be amiable to the idea of the CW shitfest.
Is that true? Is Bridget Jones' Diary a Pride and Prejudice variation?
Yes.
Oh God, and Renee Zellweger. Like, fuck. That's reason enough to just never watch that fucking movie. And doesn't it have the tranny lover in it, or the transvestite lover? What's his name? He was into transvestite hookers. What's the main actor in it? In Zellweger, who plays opposite Zellweger?
In Bridget Jones's Diary?
Yeah.
Oh god. I don't know. It's been a while since I saw it. Because I thought there were two guys.
Well, when you say the one guy's name.
Not Colin Firth.
No.
Hugh Grant?
Yeah, Hugh Grant. Didn't he get busted picking up transvestite prostitutes?
I don't know, but
and then claimed he was just giving her a ride to drive somewhere.
Your Honor, I was just taking her down the street. It's fine.
What's her name again? His name again?
Hugh Grant. Don't make me say it again. I hate Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Like, you want to talk about an actor that I vehemently despise for no reason? Here we go. Hugh Grant is one of them. I don't like him. I don't like the way that he acts. I don't like his face, even though it's anatomically it looks like a decent face. There's something about him and everything about him that I just am diametrically opposed to.
Yeah, Divine Brown was her name. I'm not sure she was a transvestite though. That might have been just Eddie Murphy.
A Serpent 21 says people forgot about that because Lady died a week later. Huh. Interesting.
Estelle Marie Thompson, also known as Divine Brown, is an American former sex worker who gained public attention in 1995 when actor Hugh Grant was caught receiving oral sex from her in a car on Hollywood Sunset Boulevard. She remained in the public eye since through her work in pornography, television appearances, and newspaper interviews.
Yeah, that didn't let him. That didn't get in his career down. He's still going strong. Like, he's the guy that's in like every single stupid freaking romantic comedy movie since forever ago. And it's irritating because I actually like romantic comedies. Fight me, hoes. And to see him in almost every single one of them just irks me a great deal. Because I just don't like him. And it's nothing personal. It might be personal because I hate everything about his essence, but I can't stand him as an actor. You ever have that? You ever just come across a person and there's no reason why you don't like them? You just don't like them? And you can't put an actual, like, certifiable reason on why you don't like them. You just don't. Does this ever happen to you, Polly?
What are you talking about?
You ever just not liked anybody for no reason?
Sure. Like daily.
Like a person named Daily, or on the daily you like people for no reason? You don't like people for no reason.
Yeah, I don't like people for no reason all the fucking time.
Okay, so I feel a little bit better about my disposition concerning this actor. I think it's his face. There's something wrong with his face. Something about Hugh Grant's face that's just unsettling to me. See that? Would you trust that? Would you let that man babysit your child?
No, especially like with that. I mean, wow, you picked the perfect picture. That guy's like, the wider the smile, the sharper the knife, and this guy's getting ready to fucking stick you.
What about that one?
Yeah, that's just disingenuous British scumbag.
All right, what about that one? You're validating me 100%.
Well,
so I don't know why I keep bringing him up. Is this more charming, or is this?
That's he's managed to become. Yeah, he must have taken charm classes at that point, or forgotten them later in life.
I guess.
Because apparently he looks younger in that one. You know what's
Well, yeah.
sad? He was in a movie that actually could have played, like, I don't think mafia comedies generally are very funny. The premise of a movie that he was in called Mickey Blue Eyes is a very funny premise, and it had some marginally funny lines in it, but he was the guy, and it was terrible. It's like, what would happen if a guy was mistaken as somebody who was a made man, who was an insider, and everybody was just really friendly to him throughout the movie? So it was like, a comedy of increasingly ridiculous circumstances. You know what I mean? And he's this British guy, and he can't talk with an Italian-American New York accent at all, like a Brooklyn accent at all. Can't manage it. So he just kind of mumbles his way through conversations, and people take that as approvals and going along with what they're saying. And it's written in such a way that it's in a comedy sense. It's conceivable that a bunch of mobsters would just assume he's one of them. He's just a mumbler who's just not really, he's disinterested and not involved. It's funny, except he ruins it. It's a simple little movie. It works. It's like Analyze This as a single standalone movie that actually stands. Like, again, I'm not a fan of mafia comedies, but that one kind of works. Even though I don't like Billy Crystal very much. And Robert De Niro needs to stop doing comedies and stop doing shitty movies to support his wife's bad business ideas.
You said Robert De Niro needs to stop doing shitty comedies? Or just
Yes.
shitty comedies?
Shitty comedies generally he needs to put down and give a rest to, and bad movies in general just to get a script, just to get a paycheck to support his wife's bad business ideas. I mean, he sunk tens of dozens of millions of dollars into his various wives' really poor business notions that have all gone belly up.
It happens. It happens, unfortunately. That's why you don't let women handle finances.
Well, no, letting them handle finances is, well, maybe that is the issue. Maybe their business would have done okay if they weren't handling the money. I don't know. I don't know what the particulars were. All I know is that Robert De Niro has been repeatedly caught in public yelling at restaurants and bars and such with his former wife, now divorced from, or his current wife, who he's now separated from, and they were screaming about business shit. He's quoted. He's actually on cell phone footage at one time being recorded saying, "I wouldn't have to keep taking these shitty movies if any business you ever had even worked."
Ooh, yeah.
Like, did you just confirm what everyone had been guessing for years at this point, De Niro? Like, how have you tanked your own credibility as a quality actor by taking all these really, really shitty movies, like doing Analyze This, Analyze That, Analyze Yourself, Analyze Your Butt. Like, there's like 5 sequels to this stupid fucking, and Meet the Falkers, Meet the Fuckers, Meet the Falcon Fuckers. Like, it just sequel after sequel after sequel. These stupid movies, just like, why? You can't possibly be passionate about this film.
So, Meet the Fuck. God damn it. So, Meet the Fockers. It was an okay concept. I liked the idea. Or no, not Meet the Fockers. Meet the Parents. The original movie. Meet the Parents.
Real quick, the Assassin of James Gray.
There you go.
He's writing about James Caan, and I turned it into Assassin of James Gray. Okay, anyway, you're right. The best thing going about Mickey Blue Eyes was James Caan. It was just awesome seeing James Caan play a mob guy again because it was fucking James Caan is an incredibly charming guy to watch on screen, man. He's a blast. Sorry, Weebo, you were saying.
Okay, so I understand the idea behind Meet the Parents. It could work as a comedy on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But in execution, it comes off not as sincere, not as funny as where it could, like, not naturally funny. It kind of just, it's slapstick comedy, it's lazy, and it's ridiculous. I can't take it as seriously. Compared to a movie that took basically the same concept and did the exact same, not the exact same, but a similar version of that plot. Have you ever seen Father of the Bride?
No, with Stephen Shire. What's his name?
No, he's the guy from Cheaper by the Dozen.
Yeah, that guy.
But yeah, the actor from Cheaper by the Dozen.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yes. The actor Steve Martin, he plays the father in this movie about a girl who comes back from her study abroad trip in, I believe it was Italy, engaged to a man who's like not like that much older than her, but older than her by a little bit. But she's got a master's degree now in architecture, and she comes back home from her trip engaged to this man that Steve Martin has never met ever. And he has to go through the stages of essentially, loss, grief, anger, denial, all of the different stages as a father whose daughter he was very close to, because she was like a daddy's girl or whatever. Like they were very close growing up, and she comes back and she's leaving him, and he's like having trouble processing this. And all the while, traditionally, of course, the bride's parents pay for the wedding, so he's being asked to foot the bill to send his daughter off on the rest of her life before he's even ready to do so. Like he does not cope well the entire movie, and it's done well. It's done cleverly. It is graceful in the way that it handles its comedic moments. Of course, there is some instances of absolute ridiculousness in the way that he kind of, when they go to meet the in-laws, he's going to the bathroom and he accidentally stumbles across the in-laws' office, and he gets obviously the notion to kind of rifle through their things to look up to see if there's anything sketchy about them and the family that his daughter's about to marry into. And so he's snooping, as parents and just any random person does. And there's these dogs, they chase him out of the room, and he has to go get the checkbook or whatever it is. The bank book, that's what it is. Back in the day before we had applications to actually look at our accounts just on a whim. And hilarity ensues. He ends up falling into the pool trying to get the bank book back and embarrasses himself as a result of his snooping and prying. And of course, there's also the wedding planner, who is played by this obnoxious French man whose accent you can barely understand. And it's all obviously played up for laughs, but it's very reminiscent of how the actual wedding industry is run today. And it's done well. It's done much better than Meet the Parents, which is kind of contrived. Like everything that you're seeing in not Meet the Parents, but Father of the Bride is happening, and it's enjoyable. Yes, cringy at times, but enjoyable for what it is, which is it's a father watching his daughter have her coming of age moment and leaving the nest, and we're along for the ride and we're enjoying it, and it's good. Actually, you know what? That's gonna be my next movie that we have to watch together. No?
Pick better.
It is a good movie, and it's a happier one than the previous one. I think you'll like it.
Do you watch anything that isn't romance based like this? Like, don't you have any
yes
films where someone's a murderer or something?
Yes.
Okay, can we watch one of the murderer films?
I suggested we could watch the pilot episodes of like our favorite TV shows. And like,
those don't sound very murdery. Just saying, they don't. The CW might have a show about a murderer. I don't fucking know. I don't watch CW.
Well, I offered we could watch. I said we'd take a day. We can, a short movie day instead of a full feature film. We could split it up into half of it dedicated to like episode 1 of The Sopranos, and half of it dedicated to episode 1 of The 100, and compare notes about like, I don't know if that's your favorite TV show, but like it's mine and I like it, and it's not romancy. What?
Oh.
Yeah, it's not romancy in nature. Mm.
I want to give you an option between okay, what are you pursing your lips for?
Also, I resent the implication that Father of the Bride is romantic. It's not. It's a comedy, yes, certainly, but it's not romantic because the core relationship isn't between two lovers, it's between a father and his daughter, Polly. That's weird. How dare you? The audacity here.
Which would you rather watch?
Okay.
Open Range, starring Kevin Costner, co-starring Robert Duvall and Annette Bening as the always required redemptive woman in the classic Western story. Bing.
Bing.
And
then the alternative
would be Kevin Costner starring in Mr. Brooks.
Go on.
Go on.
Like, give me a synopsis, or not a synopsis, but like a summary of the plot. Not the plot, but like.
Okay, Open Range is a wildly underrated Western. It's so good. It's got all the Western classics in it. It's shot beautifully, big vistas, and Robert Duvall's there, who's one of the most naturalistic actors to ever step in front of the camera. There's lots of great ones out there, and he's one of them in terms of just naturalism. So basically, it's a story of you can graze open on the open range, as it were, legally, but you can't. People there don't like that because you're grazing on my territory. You're basically, it's like, yeah, but it's, we're not hunkering down on your territory. We're just passing through and our cattle are grazing. And it's like, yeah, well, get the fuck out of here. They have a sign up in the local bar: no dogs or grazers or free grazers allowed.
How dare they?
Yeah, so this is the kind of place he's in. Now, the main character, played by Kevin Costner. Always great to see Costner play a cowboy. Love it. Love it. He's one-time gunfighter who's hung up his rig, and he doesn't want to live that life anymore. He's just become a cowboy, a ranch man, like not actually owning a ranch, but taking care of a number of head of cattle. And he's and he meets this redemptive woman. Of course he does, who makes him want to forget about his past and et cetera, et cetera. But then the bad guys come to town. And they threaten and hurt his friend, so he's got to pick up his guns one more time to deal out cold justice with warm lead. It's fucking great. It's got everything a Western should have.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people opting for, is it Open Range? Was that the first one you gave me?
Yeah, Open Range. Now, Mr. Brooks, I think, is an underrated psychological thriller film. It's got some hokey moments in it, but it's still pretty good because you get to see Kevin Costner play a dark role, which you don't get to see him play very often. He's a serial killer who hasn't killed in a long time. And the darker sides of his emotions and drives and wishes and wants are personified by his imaginary friend who's constantly trying to push him into doing things. Or talk him into doing things or questioning his decisions, played by John Hurt. So while he's driving, the titular Mr. Brooks, played by Kevin Costner, is driving, and he's got like the suburban family and et cetera, and he's off at the PTA meeting, and then John Hurt's sitting in the back seat going, we could just kill that person. Yeah, it'd be fine. You want to, don't you? That kind of thing. And dead bodies start popping up. He doesn't remember doing it. Did he actually do it and kind of forget? Did he go into a blackout? Did he start killing again after he hasn't killed in so long, et cetera, and at the end has a twist.
I kind of like that one. It sounds more interesting, Mr. Brooks.
But I will warn you, you do have to deal with Dane Cook.
Oh, that's not a selling point at all.
I know.
Talk about 12-year-old boys. That man has the humor of a 12-year-old man, child. I think it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I think that's the one that I want to watch. See, Polly, I feel like the movies that you share with me that have like a theme of darkness, darkness, but like
Have you noticed how often?
profound melancholy.
Okay. I wish I could say you were wrong. I didn't.
Profound melancholy.
Yeah, they're
And
melancholy characters. It's
The
true.
things that and while I do appreciate profound melancholy, I do also feel like you have to balance that out with profound not melancholy, whatever the antithesis of melancholy is.
Okay, you
happiness,
point.
joy, heartwarming life lessons, except for
There was nothing heartwarming.
atonement.
Okay, clearly, you're accepting atonement from this
with the
description, right?
exception of atonement. Yes.
Okay.
But like the things that I suggest to you, yes, I know they don't seem like exactly your cup of tea, but I thought the point of movie night between the two of us was to kind of broaden horizons a little bit.
Yeah, it was,
introduce
sure,
us to
yeah.
concepts that we would not ourselves have explored naturally.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched Stuffy and Upper Crusty if you hadn't. It wouldn't have happened.
Yes, and I appreciate what that does for my movie palette. But I would like if you gave me the same regard, sir.
What are you talking about? Did you not? You like The Town?
Yeah.
Well, that's very melancholic. The main
I
character,
know.
he's the sad lone wolf who meets a redemptive woman, and it's an ongoing theme. I really enjoy that, but for some reason or other, usually because of the person's disposition and the way reality conspire or circumstances conspire around them, it was never meant to be. This person has become so accustomed to being a standalone character. The very idea that they would, yes, this woman redeems him, but it's just or finds redemptive characteristics in a woman. Yeah, absolutely. But it's not for him, and he knows it. That's Billy Costigan from The Departed. That's basically every woman that any Raymond Chandler character runs into. It's a great concept. It just works. What do you want from me? So you're
watching it on repeat. That's what you're saying to me.
As opposed to British people being upper crusty about their forlorn love that they cannot express because of the class society that they live in. And oh my, let's go for tea.
I think thematically, the movies that I presented to you have been of a wider variety than the ones that you presented to me. I would just like to put that out there.
Okay, you know what? I'm not saying you're wrong, but you have a sharper memory for these things than I do. So make that case to me, because you very well might be right. Make that case to me, if that's true. Like shoot, what have we watched? Remind me. I'm not really.
So the movies that
keeping in mind, I'm the guy. Chat. I'm the guy who sat through 2 Christmas Barbie movies. Okay, but
one of them. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure both of the Barbie Christmas movies you wanted to watch because you have this whole thing around Christmas where you watch any Christmas movie. Like,
yeah, but I thought it was the no, that's not what happened. Yes,
okay, you wanted to watch every version of A Christmas Carol, and there is a Barbie version of A Christmas Carol.
I thought it was the only thing you guys were going to watch. You guys meaning you and Far.
Uh-huh.
And you did, because I listed off. Okay, we can watch 1954. Christmas Carol. We can watch Christmas Carol by Robert Zemeckis, the 3D capture animation movement capture animation film, starring Jim Carrey. But I'm willing to see past that for A Christmas Carol because I don't like Jim Carrey, fucking pinko. He is. And I don't think he's particularly funny. I know some people find Jim Carrey charming. I don't. But when he's, hidden behind makeup and he's playing Scrooge and he's got a director like Robert Zemeckis that's willing to tard wrangle him. Tard wrangle. Yeah.
Carry on.
So you've watched Groundhog Day?
Yes.
Have you seen Scrooged?
No.
That's got a redemptive woman in it. We should have totally watched that. I didn't even think of Scrooged. It's in there. But when I listed off all of the various, because it's starring Bill Murray as a version of Ebenezer Scrooge. I remember I listed Bah Humduck, the Looney Tunes Christmas Carol? You didn't want to watch that?
I don't remember that. We agreed on the Barbie movie because I don't actually remember why we did it. I just remember that we did it and you were okay with it because it was a version of A Christmas Carol, and you're just like, I gotta get them all out of the way. You're like on a Christmas Carol binge. Like you want a mission, my dude. Watch every
I think it's one of the most
Christmas
spectacular stories ever told, and I make no apologies for it.
I
realize
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Yeah,
It
I know
is
people
iconic.
Oh man, it's one of the first time travel stories. People don't see it that way, but it is. Stop and think about it for a second.
Yeah, no, absolutely, arguably.
Yeah. It's a fantastic story of like, I mean, talk about a character arc for Scrooge. Holy shit. Patrick Stewart's one-man presentation of A Christmas Carol, the onstage one-man show that he has of A Christmas Carol is fucking amazing. He's just Scrooge as one guy on stage and tells the story to the audience of his interactions and with all of the various characters. And then my clerk, who I pay far too much to, by the name of Bob Cratchit, actually thought that putting an extra piece of coal on the fire was a good idea.
How dare he?
You know, that sort of thing.
One is sufficient.
Yeah.
Well, like from what I remember, it was you were regaling to me Far. I believe Far was there, but we're talking about your Christmas Carol viewing extravaganza, and we're like, oh, did you know that there's a Barbie version of A Christmas Carol?
And so I went and got it, and we watched it.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? It was the Nutcracker.
Barbie and the Nutcracker. That one I believe was my recommendation because it's one of my favorite Barbie Christmas movies, or Barbie movies in general. Actually, it's that one and Barbie Rapunzel. Like they're tied for first place.
Polly, do you have a Victorian top hat? I do not.
But like on that list of movies that I've had you watch with me, we have Barbie Rapunzel, we have Twisted the Musical, we have Pride and Prejudice, we have Atonement. Oh gosh, what else do we have? There's so many other ones, but just those four are completely separate from each other genre-wise. They are all over the place.
Hold on, there was Pride and Prejudice and Atonement. What are the other two?
Barbie.
Nutcracker. I thought you were naming like other
Barbie, Nutcracker,
upper crusty tea parties.
No, I was naming the movies that like I can remember off the top of my head. We watched together on my recommendation, and they are vastly different from one another. They are
okay, and what? Mine are all replications.
No, not replications, but you made the claim that all of the movies that I had presented to you were like romancy and whatnot. And I'm like, that's not true at all.
Hold on. You know what? Daniel Fulman brings up an excellent question. Why do we not have a spreadsheet for this? And I'm not even kidding. A spreadsheet in this case would have actually been useful.
You're right. We should have a spreadsheet. I will endeavor to create the spreadsheet post haste. Because I've been meaning to make another spreadsheet. But that spreadsheet would be specific to all of the debate topics that we have, which I have to go and I have to screenshot them all and collect them. Because I think we have almost enough.
To what?
To have the debate stream.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's a Veg Fables version of A Christmas Carol. I don't know what Veg Fables is, Gokado.
Yeah.
We could watch the Christmas short this year, the Australian animated nativity story. It's great hearing because all the acting is Australian voice actors, so you get to hear Joseph. Crikey, there's no room at the inn. It's he doesn't actually say that, but like it's pretty awesome hearing I won't pain anyone with my version of an Australian accent. I don't do varying accents well, but.
We can try.
Super 21, thank you for the donation. Thank you for teaching me a new word, tard wrangle. Watching every version of A Christmas Carol, only Lorraine Bracco can say it better. No. When did Lorraine Bracco ever just say no so solidly like that? I'm trying to think.
Thank you to as Serpent21 for the donation. Context means nothing anymore since a man taught his girlfriend's dog to give a Nazi salute as a joke. Yeah. A mood.
Like Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas or Lorraine Bracco from Sopranos? Like when she's Jennifer Melfi, does she be? No. I mean, she does tell Tony no a lot because he is constantly making lewd suggestions to her. Well, not constantly, but just,
Not constantly. But you're right. We need a spreadsheet, don't we?
Yeah. Just
right.
if only to like Sopranos. Okay, there you go. If only to
like,
just so we keep up with.
All right.
No, I mean, Gilcata, you're not wrong. Like the U.S. and UK accents is just real Christian propaganda, but the nativity stories are Christmas propaganda, man. It's just the nativity story. Chill out.
All right. Holy shit.
Yeah, like I want the list more or less to have it, and then we can go ahead and see if anybody is recommending the same type of movie over and over again, either stylistically or thematically.
Wait. Theme, genre, suggester. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can go back through my calendar and look at the specific dates of the movies that we watched.
So, I mean, we know where it starts. That's easy enough.
There you go, Polly.
Yay.
You have access to my spreadsheet.
Yay.
Let me just embiggen that.
Because it started with Casablanca, unintentionally. This is where the movie trading started.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that was Upper Crusty Tea Party.
I didn't spell that right. It's fine. Then after that, I feel like, okay, so after Pride and Prejudice, you suggested that movie about the guy who loses his memory after he, like, reverse engineers something.
Paycheck?
Is it Paycheck?
Well, that's precisely what happens in Paycheck. Like, he reverse engineers something and then the company wipes his memory, so he has no memory of what invention he reverse engineered.
But he also happens to, like, fall in love with a woman, and I think he marries her or actually asks her to marry him.
Well, they end up together at the end of the movie, but I just watched that movie like 3-4 days ago. It's called Paycheck, yeah.
Yeah, we watched it together. I remember watching that. Yeah, we did.
No.
I watched that with you.
No. Okay.
Yes, we did.
I'm willing to believe we watched a movie that was like that, but it wasn't Paycheck. I didn't watch Paycheck with you. If I did, I really, really, really need to chill with the booze and bills.
I 100% remember watching Paycheck with you.
No, bro. No.
Who else would I have watched it with?
I have no idea. I don't even.
No one. That's who. It was
okay. Then tell me things that happened in that movie then.
Okay. Well, they had like this little terrarium thing with a plant elevator.
Yeah. That wasn't me.
It was totally you.
Nah, bro.
And he was leaving clues around for himself.
Sure. Yeah. That's Paycheck. But I didn't watch it with you.
Yes, we did. Don't gaslight me. Paycheck. I'm looking through. Where the fuck?
I believe that it might have come up as a suggestion. Well, why would I suggest a Ben Affleck? Like, okay, it's sure John Woo always gets a pass. It's a John Woo film, so I'm not going to cuss it out. But I wouldn't have wasted a movie suggestion on because Uma Thurman's terrible in that movie.
Oh my god, you're right. You didn't watch it with me.
Someone needs to chill out with their fucking mom wine.
You know who suggested it though? I did watch it in the Discord. That's why I thought it was with you. But I watched it for movie night.
Okay.
With the people in the Discord, and Eve suggested it to me. So
I see. So I'm just an interchangeable Discord person. I see how it is. Nice.
Are you done being a silly hat?
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I know. It's good to know. That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we watched The Town.
Thank you, my Patreon, who called me on my bullshit in the chat. The Town.
And I'm counting Cats as one of your choices since I watched.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was with everybody.
Yeah, I don't care. I had to watch it.
Okay. What next?
There were parts of it I enjoyed.
Do you remember when we watched Casablanca?
We didn't watch it. You went and watched it separately. But it's kind of what got the ball rolling because you failed to misunderstand the glorious love story that is Rick and Elsa.
Glorious. Oh, okay. So it was 11/13/2019. Was the date of when I watched Casablanca. And Pride and Prejudice was
Magical Mr. Mistopheles was a good song. That worked. That was my favorite one.
Don't bring back horrible memories for me, please.
Jellicle Cats was obnoxious.
Stop it. Cease.
And there was memories. Oh my god, snotty memories.
Memories.
Oh, like see, remember I was talking about tard wrangling? The director failed to tard wrangle her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like lady. Okay, look, first of all, start off. Here's a Kleenex. Okay, now let's do that over again and keep the snot in your face.
It was so nasty.
And after we've replaced all the lenses in our camera for you having shattered or cracked them with them fucking emotive looks you were giving. Oh.
This is so bad. It was so bad, Polly.
Yeah, and what was the fat cat's name in the cat suit who kept doing the fucking spread eagle legs? What was the
Faticus Catechus? I don't fucking know. I think we watched Pride and Prejudice on December 30th of 2019, but I can't be sure.
And then we watched The Departed.
Yes.
Didn't we?
We did watch The Departed.
Okay. And then Barbie 1 and 2.
Barbie and the Nutcracker. Barbie A Christmas Carol.
Yeah. And then all 5 Twilights.
Twilight.
And Twilight New Moon.
1 through
And then
5.
Twilight. Shit, what's the third one called? Because the 4th and 5th
Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2.
Nice. There you go.
No. Twisted the Musical. And
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was funny. That
was funny.
It was. Yeah.
Good time. And then Atonement. Pat, can you remember any other movies that we watched? You weren't there, but I know we talked about them. I do have another column for Who's Adjusted. So this would be Polly, Weebo, Polly, Weebo, Polly, Weebo, Weebo, Polly, Weebo, Weebo. Rum Tum Tigger. Or Rim Tim Tigger.
Yeah, and for all the fucking talk about what's her name.
Who? Lady or Dame Judi Dent.
Taylor Swift, who actually has the body of a 12-year-old boy. For all the talk about her being in that movie, she had one part and one thing. She just sang the intro for Idris Elba's character. What's the main villain? What's his name? Whatever the villain's name was. And it was trying to steal the Jellicle gift or whatever.
I don't know. I'm having more flashbacks, certainly.
Whew.
Oh, wow. I'm like so far away right now in terms of my schedule. I'm looking through the movies that we have.
So you don't get to pick a movie for like the next 3? Is that what you're telling me?
Hang on. Twilight Saga counts as 5. So I get the next 3. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Twilight's one saga. It's a Twilight Saga. It's one film.
Okay, but that's easily more than 10 hours worth of content. 15 if it's...
I suggested the 9.5 hour cut of Godfather. You didn't go for it.
We'd have to split it up. If we
didn't you do an IRL straight through watch of the director's cut of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
That's actually impressive. You pulled that off.
I set aside... So technically we didn't finish the whole director's cut of Lord of the Rings because our boyfriend was getting sleepy and he had to drive home. So we skipped out on the last quarter of the last movie, which is like an hour and a half of time.
What? Wait a minute. Depressing should be my genre, said Hero says. What are you talking about, man?
Perpetually melancholy sounds less clinical. But I get where you're coming from.
Wait till you see True Detective season 2. I fucking adore it. I've seen it multiple times. If you think that you want to see melancholy.
So these are movies that we've already seen. What are we suggesting? What did you want to put on here, Mr. Brooks?
Long movies, westerns. How about Heaven's Gate, Serpent 21? No, I've seen Heaven's Gate, and the answer is no. I won't. I like Weebo. I will not subject her to Heaven's Gate. I mean, okay. It's got Christopher Walken. Okay, that's mad credit for any film. As soon as and this is when Christopher Walken was still an actor and not a mimicry of an impression of a meme of himself. You know what I mean?
A mimicry of an impression of a meme. Wow. Say what you really feel, Polly.
No, I'm not hating on the guy. It's just they hire him to be Christopher Walken at this point. And sometimes it works really well. If you've never seen Suicide Kings, he's basically playing Christopher Walken, and it works like a fucking charm.
Say his name with the L again, I dare you. It's Christopher Walken. No L.
Oh. Jesus. You need to get table flippingly angry over it. I dare you.
I thought it would be funny.
So what are you saying? It's what are the choices that are up next? Mr. Brooks, Open Range are the ones that I suggested tonight. Both Costners.
We still have to watch The Confession, but we're going to do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely have to watch The Confession. But we got to schedule around Miss Eve and her.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to actually decide on a day.
Yeah.
Instead of imagining it and manifesting it out of our own imaginations, Polly.
Yeah, I had a talk with her about who had suggested that, and she's fairly certain she talked to you. I'm not even kidding. You can go talk to her about it.
Well, so you and I decided on Friday being movie night. And I had initially thought it was just going to be the two of us. And then I talked to Eve later on, and she'd mentioned that you had invited her on. And I'm like, oh, the more the merrier. I didn't realize that she heard Saturday. And she hadn't heard it from me because I wouldn't have said that because I already had plans that Saturday to watch the Snyder Cut again with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that would make no sense. Me scheduling, double booking myself on a Saturday because I don't make those mistakes.
Okay.
But I could totally see Polly doing it.
I got to remind myself to get Far to suggest Suburban Sasquatch to you because I want to watch that movie again and I want you to see it, but I don't want it to use up one of my choices. So I got to get Far to suggest.
Oh, too bad. I already wrote it down.
No. That's Far's suggestion, not mine.
Sure.
No, she wants to watch it again too. She told me just day before last. We were watching the Red Letter Media review of the new to us Dave Wiscavage film, the creator of the genius that is Suburban Sasquatch, called Tartarus. But it can't touch Suburban Sasquatch. That's
no. course not.
One of a kind. You know, it's got Sasquatch dong in it. What more do you want?
Now, are we limiting to just movies, or do you like my pilot?
No, I'll do
Episode
pilots.
idea.
That's not a bad idea. It's
Okay.
not. That's a fairly okay idea.
The pilot. Off.
Okay, hang tight. I'll be right back. Right back.
Versus Sopranos. And then CW pilot episode. Torture fan. So, Chad, are we having fun? Are we having a good time? I'm having a good time. I don't know. I like discussing movies with Polydub. It's a good time. It's always a good time. Sabrina, one of my favorite faves. See, the pilot episode is such a low tier of modeling what it is that the rest of the seasons and series turn into, because it is them trying to do their best to sell the show to a network. And as a result, of course they're going to pull out all the stops. But it's after the pilot that you have to actually pay attention to things. And I think that a lot of the CW shows fall off much later on in the series. I mean, take 100, for example. Personally, I think it's a fantastically written show up until season 7. I mean, sure, things are not always going to be 100%, but I think it definitely falls off a cliff in season 7 when we finally get to wrapping up everything that we've been building over the entire course of the program. Now, contrast that with its lesser caliber TV shows. And this is going to be a controversial opinion for some of the people in the room here. But I think the CW superhero handling of the shows leaves something to be desired. El Boyfriendo disagrees with me on this. He thinks Supergirl is brilliant.
I didn't say that.
He thinks that Supergirl is okay.
There you go.
Whereas I think it's trash. Green Arrow starts off strong, and then it's not anymore. Flash also is a show that starts off pretty strong, and then it quickly becomes anything but the Flash. But that's an oversimplification of my opinion on the matter. I could do a whole 4-hour review of these shows individually, and we'd have a great time. A great time. I did watch Sabrina, the TV show, and I did think that the pilot episode for Sabrina, the new one that they came out with, that was interesting. It introduced some very compelling plot devices and aspects that I would have loved to explore had I continued watching, but I just kind of stopped. And from what I understand, it fell hard to the point where it's discontinued because people just weren't interested in watching it. Hey, Polly. Seriously, getting me this bubble wrap was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The Flash became the Irish West show. Yeah.
The Irish West show. Okay.
The Irish West show.
Daniel Fulman has said several times, Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. I don't have a copy of that. I wonder if it's up on YouTube.
Maybe. I have a website that I could send you to that I use to legitimately view all of my favorite and perspective viewing things.
The legitimacy of that website is in doubt, but okay.
Well, it's only going to ask you about 8 million times if you are interested in any singles in your neighborhood. You just have to click X.
Hot
again
singles.
and again and again. Hot singles, sorry. You're right. My bad. Polly, have you ever considered doing media criticism? Like, more?
Like, what? Expand on that.
Basis.
What do you mean by that?
Like, there's an entire genre of YouTube that I indulge in on a frequent basis. That's just either praises or shits all over properties. For instance, Mahler did an excellent takedown of the sequel series for Star Wars.
Okay.
Like, we're talking for 3 hours of movie footage, he produced, I'm pretty sure it's upwards of 15 hours of content and put it on his channel. Like, let me double check myself on that because I'm pretty sure that's an exaggeration, but it was a grotesque amount. Like, who knew that you could say that much about how much you hate this one property and how it was handled this one time? Apparently you can say a lot about it. Oh yeah, he just came out with a Black Widow video because they just came out with Black Widow movie, and it's 4 hours and 17 minutes.
Have I thought about doing this?
Not specifically this model of things, but it seems to be.
You know, well, but this is it. So many people want to do that, and who the hell wants to hear me complain about movies? Do you actually? Why? Really?
I'd watch that.
You don't watch my other shit. Why would you watch that?
I do watch other shit. I watch AAA.
AAA don't count.
You're there, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's internet smut. You shouldn't be watching that stuff. That's not good for you.
Internet smut.
I mean, I'm there. I know. It's internet smut. You shouldn't be watching that stuff.
Well, okay, it doesn't have to be like 4 hours long a piece, but I think that you might have interesting things to say about things, and I'd be interested in watching your interesting takes on said things.
I did do that. I did start that series that I never kept going with, Movies I Barely Remember. Remember that?
Yeah. Movies that I barely remember.
Yeah. Well, what were they? They were I did two. Alien Insurgency, and which is part of the joke that I couldn't remember the name of the fucking movie halfway through the fucking 3-minute spiel about what I couldn't remember, and Alien Resurgence, and oh yeah, American Gangster. What all the pieces were there for that to be a great movie, and it was just incredibly forgettable.
Batched.
Yep.
A big rough. Big oof.
Why don't we watch 1984? I believe it was 1984 Supergirl. I have the international theatrical cut.
There's a 1984 Supergirl?
Yes, there is. If I'm right about the year. It's 1980 something. I have a copy of it. It's terrible. Like, you said you like bad movies. Holy shit, Weebo. I got one for you.
That's the thing about me is I love bad movies, but not because I like the movie itself. I like who I become when I watch the movie, and that is a sassy, heartless bitch. It's the only time that I allow myself to be as mean as I possibly can. What?
Nothing.
What, bitch?
I said, how is that different from you normally?
Yeah. I'm less of a bitch on the normal basis.
There you go. Helen Slater, 1984. Thank you, Six. Helen Slater plays Supergirl.
You don't get any of my bubble wrap. How about that?
Oh no. It's not like they don't have anything else to squeeze.
Okay. I've heard good things about Soups and Lois. Soups and Lois is pretty good so far.
Are you watching it?
I don't know. I'm reading the chat. 6 minutes says that is the case. Speaking of Superman properties,
yes.
Have you ever seen Smallville?
No, I like good stuff.
Oh, don't let a boyfriend hear you say that.
I don't know. I'm not into teen drama that happens to be vaguely based around a superhero property.
I heard it was decent, half decent, somewhat decent. I don't know. I was just curious. Don't got me so mean about it.
No, I mean, all I'm saying is that is an ongoing stylistic, whatever you want to call it, presentation of superhero stuff or witchcraft related stuff even.
Yeah.
It's about a bunch of like diverse friends that just they're totally friendly friends, and they're the get along gang who care about each other's feelings, and they're friends with friends, and it's about their interpersonal dramas and relationships and stuff, and it's vaguely related to something like Buffy, vaguely related to the supernatural creatures or whatever.
What are you talking about? Buffy was peak supernatural content.
Right. You know, and then Smallville, same thing. It's interpersonal young adult drama.
Okay. All
vaguely related to superhero content.
Okay.
And what Marvel show hasn't really, well, a lot of Marvel shows, I should say, which one hasn't been, but like Supergirl, come on, same thing. I mean, and if you like that, more power to you. More power to you.
I'm not saying that I like it. I'm just wondering, like, I can watch any kind of TV show so long as it's good. But if you're going to write it off simply because it's just another one of those teenage drama, loosely based concept ideas where the plots are copy paste to the nth degree, like, oh, of course we have a love triangle plot between these three characters. Oh, of course we have a forgotten, accidentally evil twin person.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we have characters dying and then coming back to life. Or prophesized to die and then not actually dying. Because of course we don't have the cojones to actually kill off any characters.
Wasn't that movie series, when we were talking about on Cocktail Hour like 2 weeks ago that we should watch it? And I couldn't remember the name of it then either. It's about the Dauntless crew and the such and such crew dystopian future film where Divergent. Yeah, I was gonna say where Pretty Girl has to pick who her friends are going to be, and it's like
they never finished it. I'm pretty sure.
Like there's 5 of them, right?
Let's find out. Do you want to watch 5?
No, because I remember you had suggested stupid film with dumbass there. What's it called?
That's a lot of properties there, probably.
the
stupid film with dumbass.
The Mockingjay one there. What's it called?
Oh, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yeah, you suggested Hunger Games. I'm like, no, I'm not watching that. So I'll watch that Divergent thing. That looks like there's more to make fun of.
Let's see. I think the expanded franchise, there's Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant, and Ascendant.
Are those the names of them? Holy fuck! I thought you were just like at dictionary.com or something. I didn't.
No, no, I was not.
That's terrible. That's so bad.
But I don't know if they actually ever came out with those films.
Yeah, Hunger Games with Cumface, Serpent Nose. Yeah.
Well, I suggested that because I was like, oh, we could just watch that too, because he finished it. Like, unlike this one, which I'm pretty sure Ascendant never came out. On February 8th, 2016, it was reported that Robert Schwenke, who directed both Insurgent and Allegiant, would not return to direct the final film. Another director was reported to replace the director of the film. Theatrical release of Ascendant was later canceled in favor of developing a television film and spin-off series for Starz. The star Shailene Woodley refused to be part of this TV adaptation, which violated her contract, which specified that the project had to be a theatrical film release. Sources close to the production have said that due to the COVID-19 outbreak and waning network interest in the project, it is uncertain if the series will ever be completed. I'm okay with that, because that probably... it's based off a book series, right?
I do.
They made us read this for our summer reading book in high school.
What happened to the high literary value of the books that you were made to read?
I'm pretty sure that this was before I entered into AP classes,
Oh, okay.
but I can't be sure. Babe, do you remember when they made us watch or read Divergent in high school?
I mean, I remember it being a half decent, but
Do you remember what year that was?
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
You didn't have breakfast. You never had
That
breakfast.
explains why I did not remember it.
Okay, well, it was.
Did you not make breakfast, Weebo? Is that what I was that the takeaway from that conversation?
He wasn't hungry, and I woke up at 11:30. So it's technically lunchtime at that point.
No, you could have made you could have got in for brunch.
I made him Velveeta shells and cheese. All right? Is that not good enough?
That's it?
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? I can't make him want thing. Plus, we don't have any eggs in the house.
Damn it. Oh, you slam that wine glass.
I need to get eggs. I'll add that to the list. I have a running list of groceries that I need to get from the store. So you would rather watch Divergent than The Hunger Games?
Give it a choice? Fuck yeah.
Why?
It seems like there's more fun to be had mocking Divergent.
You're not intrigued by the idea of a bunch of kids killing each other for the sake of people's entertainment? Like that doesn't appeal to you?
Are there any exploding child skulls?
I don't think that's in either property.
What's what I mean? Like, I don't get the idea that it's some kind of like brutal.
Well, so
and children. She's like 25.
Okay, well, they're like kids from the ages of 12 to 18 are conscripted into the annual Hunger Games, which is basically where they pit two contestants from each of the different districts against each other, and it's a battle. It's a fight to the death, essentially. Like they have to kill each other, and the winner is the one kid who survives. Like that's the whole concept.
And why do people keep watching this?
Because it was the first in a long line of dystopian teenage dramas.
Maze Runner.
We could watch Blade Runner.
We could watch Blade Runner.
You've never seen Blade Runner?
Yet to see Blade Runner.
And I've got 6 versions for you to choose between.
We watch all 6 versions.
What's that?
We can watch all 6 versions.
Don't tempt me. Threaten me with a good time.
Where are you going? Well, which version would you rather I watched first of Blade Runner? The original version, or is there a different one?
Well, it depends on what you mean by original. Like the most original available is the so-called work print. And then there's the American theatrical release, the international theatrical release, and the international theatrical release number 2 that are edited differently and have different content in them. And then there's the so-called final cut, which is years and years later Ridley Scott going back and fucking his own film in the butt.
That's only 5.
Yeah, what is the 6th one I have? Hold on.
So Ridley Scott went back and he just kind of yeeted it into the sun.
Not really. I mean, it's not. It's
my own franchise property, whatever.
Well, he added clips from another movie in an attempt to create like a dreamlike sequence, and it's edited oddly. Like some of the scenes are resequenced, and some of the footage that were deleted scenes were not added back in. They weren't really deleted scenes. They were stuff that just weren't included in the American theatrical release, but were available on the Laserdisc release. God, I got to get me a copy of the Laserdisc of Blade Runner, the 1987 Blade Runner Laserdisc, and then get a Laserdisc player, of course.
Yes, you do.
Because you sort of need that.
Yeah, I'll let you decide which version to make me watch. Because I have no frame of reference. I have no idea.
Okay.
Like what would be...
I'm honestly the international release number 1 is what I would go for. The first international release.
Okay.
Theatrical.
Gotcha. Okay, so I added to the list. Blade Runner's on there. First release. It's up there. Okay, so I have Open Range, Mr. Brooks, The Confession, Superman Sasquatch, the pilot off of the 100 versus the Soprano.
I know why I was thinking 6, because Blade Runner 2049's in there as well. In that folder as well.
Gotcha. You've got to get everything in 4K, Polly. Good luck! I'm sure that's possible. Doesn't have to be filmed with a special camera in order to get it in 4K, though?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
I mean, you could upgrade it to 4K, but it's not like actually 4K. In the same way, you can take like some shitty garage recording that you did with your kid sister's headset microphone and save it as a WAV file. It doesn't mean the quality's any good, if you know what I mean.
Is that how they remaster things? Just like, all right, we'll take this video game and we'll save it in a different file format.
I'm willing to bet. I mean, that's why there's like a Blu-ray win and a Blu-ray loss. Like I've watched. Interesting. We were just talking about The Sopranos. The Sopranos season 1 available on Blu-ray is an absolute Blu-ray loss because there's different companies doing the transfer, right? And whoever did the transfer for Sopranos, like it is awful. The characters all look like oranges. Their skin tones are so plasticky, and I don't know what the hell happened. Whereas the 70th anniversary Blu-ray remaster of Casablanca is a total Blu-ray win. It is fucking gorgeous. It looks great. Yeah, it's something to see.
Okay. Wait till 8K. I don't... The idea of improving the visual quality of like your visual experience when you're watching a movie, I don't get why it's that big of a deal. Mainly because I don't really see a difference between 1080p and 4K.
No?
Is that just me?
Do you have a 4K monitor?
I have a 4K TV.
Okay, cool. And you don't notice a big difference, huh?
Not really.
Huh.
Maybe it's because most of what I watch on it was not originally made in 4K.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think the only thing that I've actually watched that was 4K like released was the Snyder Cut. Babe, was the Snyder Cut released in 4K?
I don't know.
Does anyone else know? So maybe it's perhaps because I haven't had the opportunity to view 4K intended things on 4K TV, but I just haven't really noticed that much of a difference. Granted, the screen is fucking huge, so.
So what did you think of the Snyder Cut? I never got to hear this.
Snyder Cut. We made a joke last night. Which kind of summarizes a lot of my thoughts on the idea. And that is simply to say that if you played everything at full speed, the film would probably be 2 hours.
Right.
Because holy fucking shit, Zack Snyder and his slow motion is excessive. And it didn't need to be. The ending, too, was a little bit excessive. I don't think we needed an epilogue that was 40 minutes. We didn't need the dream sequence. with the Joker and all of the last remaining survivors of the Defenders of Mankind.
Yeah.
We didn't need that post-apocalyptic scene. I don't think we needed the Martian Manhunter scene either at the end. I don't think we needed either Martian Manhunter scene, to be frank. I think that we could have just had the Amy Adams, Lois Lane and Clark's mom, Martha scene without the inclusion of Martian Manhunter. It was never established that he was a thing, nor that he would have any knowledge of this being relevant. Like, that just seemed kind of ridiculous and contrived, as opposed to the happy coincidence that not having that scene would have contributed to the actual what happened. Because, like, if we don't get that scene with Martha and Lois, we don't get that scene, then Lois doesn't realize that she has to, like, wrap this up and walk away and go. Like, actually, no, I don't even think we need that scene at all. Because the whole point of that scene was to get her to stop going to visit Clark's grave and move on with her life. Or not Clark's grave, but Clark's, like, death spot, and move on with her life.
Spoilers.
If people haven't seen the Snyder Cut already, then I can't help them.
I mean, we only saw it yesterday.
I saw it before yesterday. You saw it yesterday.
You say potato, I say fuck you.
Anyway, there were scenes like that weren't necessary for the overall progression of the plot. Now, I do think that a lot of the other scenes that were included in that were helpful and did make it better. For instance, I don't believe that any of Cyborg's character development scenes were as included in the original cut as they were in the Snyder Cut, and I think that definitely helped to flesh out his character. 100%. But overall, I do think that it was bloated in some areas where it didn't need to be. Especially with all of the fucking slow motion. Polly, there was so much of it. And I know that that's like Zack Snyder's thing, but it didn't need to happen. Also, I'm still pissed at the fact that they cast Jesse Eisenberg, of all fucking people, as Lex Luthor. Can we not get an F in chat for that atrocious casting idea? Please and thank you. Who thought that was a good idea? I want to know. And I want them to suffer. And that is my take. End scene.
Finn.
So, Polly, did any of that jive with you? Do you disagree with me vehemently on any aspects? Or do you have your own takes?
No.
You don't have any of your own takes, or you don't disagree with me?
I just, with the stuff, I don't know what to think of fucking, I don't know. What's his name's quippy, overdone Marvel humor things were gone from it, which was a nice touch.
Yeah, I did appreciate that too.
I really like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, which, again, I did not think that was going to be any good. I thought that was going to be a disaster, and it ended up being the best thing about Batman v Superman. I mean, unexpected. Holy shit. I mean, I went in there angry as hell and walked out of the movie going, all right. So, let it be known, my mind can't be changed. Preconceptions
I can't
galore.
appreciate that.
Yeah, preconceptions galore, and I walked out of the movie going, fuck yeah. And also thinking, I remember when I watched Batman v Superman in the theater with a friend of mine, we were just like, why was there so much stuff? And it's like, yeah, why this? Why that? Why that? Like, just all the things, the movie is just way overdone. But yeah, and then of course Jesse Eisenberg was just a fucking utter disaster. But as for man, DC really liked fucking their films up, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my takeaway. And then you piss off Ben Affleck so bad. The guy's like a quality director, better director than he is an actor, but he can play a good Bruce Wayne. And it's like, yeah, all right. So this guy's going to write and direct his own Batman movie. And it's like you pissed him off so bad and screwed around with the contract. So you just ended up dropping the project and walking away from it. And it's like, oh, well done, DCEU.
Did you... So the actual, like, plot. Oh, thank you. The central conflict of the movie. Did you appreciate it? Because I didn't like...
No. Bad aliens coming. Stop bad alien. Bring Superman back.
It felt very much like the Avengers' first movie, but less good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, we gotta get the MacGuffin. We gotta get the MacGuffin. We gotta get the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin's buried. That's the best we can do with the MacGuffin. We have to bury it, and that's it. You know what? You know who did a really good job of bringing the Justice League together? What property excelled in that regard?
Super Friends?
No. I never watched it, so I wouldn't know. But did you ever watch the Justice League animated series?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. It was very good.
The very first two episodes are them establishing the central conflict, the main plot, and the coming together of all of the Super Friends and the defeation of the invading alien entity.
Defeation.
The defeation. And they did it so well. And in half the time, and with better quality and storyline than either of the two Justice League cuts that we got here today. Like, the original Justice League cartoon itself, beautiful, elegant, simple, practical, succinct, clean. And then we get all this other shit. I 100% stand by my opinion that anything animated DC is 100% better than anything that anyone could ever come up with live action for any comic book property right now. I am including all the Marvel Universe stuff too. Justice League had a plot. Are we talking about the movie or are we talking about the TV show? Maybe I'm a little bit nostalgic. You know what? That's what I want to watch. I want to watch the Justice League series with you, Polly.
The animated series.
The animated Justice League
series. I've got a complete copy of it. We can fucking watch that.
Oh, such a nostalgic from my childhood thing. Because I'm feeling nostalgic. I'm feeling like I want to watch something decent. And you know what else took a property and made it profound without, disgustifying it for me?
Shoot.
Okay, did you ever get a chance to watch the original Teen Titans TV show?
Yeah.
The animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did they not do such a good fucking job on that? Like, for a kid's show. And it's not just nostalgia goggles, but they did such a good fucking job. Like, some of the most profound episodes that they had handled the deepest and darkest of concepts for children in such an elegant and classy way. For instance, the episode where we are dealing with essentially racism, but with a clever spin. So Valior is this alien from outer space. Obviously, come to Earth to track down this other alien race who is known throughout the galaxy to kill bitches and take worlds and devastate entire systems. And he's like the quintessential men's man hero person, with one exception. He's prejudiced against Tamarinians. And all throughout the entire episode, he's like being subtly racist, throwing subtly racist things at Starfire, and she's just taking it with a smile on her face and trying not to let it like bother her. But eventually Cyborg comes into the picture and he goes, "Way to go, Traki," which is basically the N-word for Tamarinians. She goes, "No!" And there's this whole like back and forth between them, and it's handled so fucking well. And I'm like, this is a kid's show? Holy fucking shit. Are you kidding me? Because this handles this adult concept so much better than anything in the current day with like ounces of more maturity or supposed maturity to it ever. And also they handled the Judas Contract way better than I'm pretty sure the more recent rendition has handled it, and that is also an animated version, but I like how they handled the Judas Contract storyline. That's just my own personal bias, though. Sorry, I'm like a super mega fan of the original Teen Titans TV show. I have it all on DVD.
So what are your thoughts on Tim Drake being bi? Prod the sleeping bear. Prod the sleeping bear.
I don't know why it had to happen.
Oh, it didn't have to at all.
I don't know also why, if it had to happen, it had to be such a big fucking deal.
What's something we talked about on Comic Book Curation forever and a day, right? It's just like the only time newspapers or online rags will ever cover anything to do with comics if they're not like comic oriented, or if they're not generally oriented to cover things like that, is when there's a first or something they can use to push an agenda. The moment they are, it's like, you know, America Chavez, New York Times, Washington Post both had articles about America Chavez, the first gay Latina superhero. It was a failed comic. It was dead on arrival. Before it even came out, no, it was easily predictable that series was going to fail. And it fucking did. It fell flat on its face. But they interviewed the writer, who's also a gay Latinx. And it's so progressive. And it's like, this is the series DOA, guys. No one's going to buy it. This thing's going to fail. And it lasted 12 issues. And it's amazing it made it that far. Because like the last 4 issues were used as like wall building materials for a Chinese fucking embankment or something, or tinder to start a fire.
I think it's a bigger problem than just, you know, identity politics, right? Because of course, yes, definitely, let's introduce new characters let's introduce these identities into the comic verse. But let's introduce new characters. I think the big problem that we have in today's current society is there is no faith in inventing new IPs to be successful. We have absolutely no ounce of faith in these new IPs that we could make that are diverse in characterization and sexualities and whatever the fuck.
Uh-huh.
But there's no faith in them to thrive. And so instead of pioneering these characters, we're going to just take and retcon old characters with these identities and pretend like this was always the case.
Sure.
Oh, so clever are we?
That's again, something we talked about on Comic Book Curation again and again. Why, when you want to diversify a character, when you want to race flip them, gender flip them, sexual orientation flip them, when you want one of these characters in there, you flip an extant character. Where it's like, we want a gay character. Okay, so you're going to create a gay character? No, we're going to take an existing character that everybody already knows and have them have their own series. It's just that they're gay now, like Iceman.
It's so fucking lazy. It has been my apex issue with the whole concept of identity politics since the very beginning. I mean, that was my whole issue with Starfire. When they created Titans, or when they first cast Anna Diop as Starfire in Teen Titans, I was like, you know what they're going to do? They're going to take this perfectly good redheaded character and they're going to fuck her up. And now we have Titans, and I'm depressed and sad. Like, why couldn't you just give me a season 6? I just wanted a season 6. It's not that hard. Anyway. This could be a conversation that goes on for another fucking hour, Polly. You know that, right?
Sorry, I was just reading. I didn't realize Paramount Plus was making a Godfather series called The Offer.
Polly, that was my subtle way of saying that I have to go to bed.
No, it's fine. We can go to bed.
I don't go to bed now. I'm getting looks from Valentine, and I already got the subtle from our boyfriend across.
Really? He
Yeah.
taps his watch.
He didn't tap it, but he looked at it and he went, and he didn't even have a watch on.
Yeah,
he made a point of
that's the worst part.
He didn't have a watch on. Okay, but anyway, it is bedtime for Weebo.
Yep, fair enough.
So, Polly, before we go, would you like to shill anything to the audience that you're working on?
Well, let's see. Well, tomorrow I'll be on the Drunken Hunter channel for the AAA stream, as we always are, around 5:30 p.m. Eastern and 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island. Coming up on Wednesday, of course, will be the AAA meeting, the better version thereof, the best version thereof, because it's over on my channel where I host, where fun and frivolity will be had again at 5:30 Eastern or 5:30 a.m. on Christmas Island. God damn you, Western Australia. Why don't you claim that island? They love you and you abandon them. It's sad. Well, that's where the crab dance originated. You want to do crab rave?
Is that really where the crab dance originated?
The crab rave thing? Yeah, they're supposed to. Those red crabs are on Christmas Island. They migrate there.
Fun.
You can see videos and photos of it's just a beach of red. You cannot see a speck of sand because it's nothing but crabs raving. Now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Good to know. As for me, chat, I am still working on my videos, one of which is going to be called Cancel Culture Doesn't Exist. The other one is called Down with Anon. Working titles, of course. If I happen to change them halfway through scripting and whatnot, then so be it. Hopefully one will be out before the end of the month. The other one will be out at the start of the month, roughly around that time. So look forward to that. I am canceling game night this week because I do want to get and make some headway on those two ideas.
So game night is evanescing away.
Evanescence away. Yes. Evanesced away.
Yep.
Yes. So boohoo, I'm sorry, but I need to hunker down and finish this goddamn script and then film it and edit it, and that's not going to happen if I don't have time, if I don't make time to make it happen. So we're going to do some not fun things in order to keep to the schedule that I'm trying to keep myself responsible for. Additionally, I will be doing side quests tomorrow night because Spooky and I switched places for the month of... It's August, right? Yeah, August. So we switched places for the month of August. So I will be on for Mondays. She'll be on for Fridays. Catch that 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on the McGoggle Morscar live stream channel. Other than that, I got nothing else for you. So, chat, thank you so much for coming out tonight, for joining us on our lovely discussions of movies and variants thereupon. We deeply appreciate your presence here, as well as your likes, comments, shares, and subscribbles, dislikes even, and your donations especially. Without you guys, this would just be two morons talking in Discord, which we'd do anyway, but at least now we're getting attention for it, because we're attention whores. Right, Polly?
What? No. I'm not agreeing with that. What the fuck?
Right, Polly? Just agree with me so we can sign off. God damn it.
Cradle robbing Padme. Is that what you called an episode of Cocktail
last episode.
Hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is last episode. You called that Cradle robbing Padme?
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Jesus.
Did you think it was funny?
I didn't notice that till right now. Support your local camel toe. Where do you come up with these names?
I'm just brilliant like that.
The Smith family is a mess. Yeah, that makes sense. What the hell was support your local camel toe in reference to?
If I knew, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Ben Affleck is a silly head.
Well, D is. I remember that. What that's from.
Mm.
Yeah, there's Ben Affleck as a silly head. Mate poaching.
Yep.
Christian
anyway.
who? Forrest Gump is not a romance. It's not. You're right. It's Jenny taking advantage of a guy who was,
a little bit special.
And she totally took advantage of him because she had done all the coke and all the discos and ended up with the AIDS.
Woo!
That's what happened.
Yes, it was, and it was glorious. Okay, so Polly, we'll be back here next week, same time, same place, same udder, same face.
Well, not otter.
That's not an otter, is it? Yeah.
Pudgy Lucchese family mob boss.
That doesn't flow as well.
No.
Toodaloo.
Later's all.
Bye, guys.